really quick. Hold on. Okay, so let me just line this all up and we are live. So welcome everyone. Let me just take a quick peek, make sure I'm okay. My mic is on. Looks like it's working. Of course, we're not even here. So welcome everybody to the studio. This is Carla. And this is another Friday night kind of live. I did this 2 weeks ago. If you remember, that particular Friday, I was in Houston, Texas for Stampin' Up's On Stage event. It's a convention that was it was for demonstrators. And so I still wanted to provide you with, a video. So I did a live, but when I recorded it in a private mode. So basically, nobody knew that I was live. Nobody was watching when I was doing it. And I got through it and I left it in that private mode. And then just before 7 o'clock that Friday, I then just changed the viewing from private to public. So I am doing the same thing for this Friday, March 29th. So if you had watched last Friday, I was actually live that last Friday. And this Friday, it's Good Friday. So at my church, we are having a Good Friday service, and I wanted to be there for that. So this is why I am doing this kind of live. I'm actually recording this. Crazy, crazy. It's I think, what time is it? It's after, well, no, it's exactly 11 p.m. Yes, guys, 11 p.m. on Thursday evening, March 28th. And reason I'm starting so late, well, I mean, I'm also working throughout the week. If you have watched last Friday, I did make mention that last Friday, that afternoon, IKEA had delivered some furniture. And this was furniture that was for my studio here. And since that evening, all the way through, I would say Tuesday, I had put it all together. So things are together, but everything's a really hot mess because now I have to figure out where to put everything because right now I just have boxes like everywhere in this apartment. So I've been doing that. I'm kind of feeling it a little bit in my hands because it was a lot of assembling it with the pieces that I did. So so I'm going to try and get through this tonight. So again, getting the projects together and all that. That's why I'm actually filming this later. So I should be able to get through this fairly quickly as long as I stop talking at the beginning of this live. So let me show you what it is that we will be working with for this live. So I'll be using the Excellent Eggs bundle. This is currently in our mini catalog that goes through till the end of April. And this is actually a bundle that will not be carrying over. So along with this bundle, I will also be featuring just a little bit of new product that'll be in the new catalog. And one of them is new cards. The new in colors. I'm featuring a new in color and also some DSP that's also new that features those new in colors as well. So let's get started with our first card. So for my first card, let me bring in my pieces here. I kind of got everything in a little envelope here on the side. So for my pieces, now this cardstock here, this is a new in color. Now it's weird because in person, this is called peach pie. And when you see it in person, it is peachy in color. It actually almost looks like peekaboo peach. But for some reason with the light, it's looking like it's a yellow color. But this is a peach. This is our new peach pie color. Then I have a piece of bubble bath cardstock that measures 4.5 by 3 1/4. And this peach pie is our standard card base size. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of Unbounded Beauty DSP. This measures 4 1/4 by 3. This is new pattern paper that features all of the new in colors. That'll be in the new annual catalog. Now, I do have the new cardstock color and the DSP listed in the description of this live, but I also have a little notation by it that states that it won't be available until May 1st. Then I have a scrap piece of basic white. So for this card, I'm going to be using Pebble Path ink, and let me pull out the stamps that I will be using for this card. So I'll be using this egg and the greeting that says Hello Spring. And let me bring in my blocks, and let me go ahead and mount these. So I apologize in advance if I seem like I'm a little bit off and maybe just having my moments of where I just seem like I'm just lost or whatever. Like I said, I had spent, off time, of course I was working, but, like on my lunch break and in the evening, I was putting this stuff together and just trying to really get it done so I can start putting things away. So I, it's weird. I just kind of feel like I haven't done this in a while for some reason. And I don't know, it's just a really weird feeling. So I'm hoping I can get through this with, no big major, mistakes or anything. Of course, now could I jumble up on my words? Yeah, well, that's going to probably be a given because that's what happens, when you're filming and yeah, the brain and the mouth don't work well together. So, okay. So back to the card. So on my piece of DSP, I am going to stamp my greeting that says Hello Spring. I just want to make sure that this looks somewhat straight on this block. And I'm going to ink it up in the Pebble Path. And I want to move this down just a little bit so I could see what I'm doing. And I'm going to stamp that right down here. Now hopefully I got it straight. I tried to line up the greeting with the bottom edge of this block. Okay, so that's not bad. So let's not stick our finger in the ink. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to set that aside along with this pink piece because we will attach those together. And then I'm going to ink up this egg. And I'm going to stamp that in the middle here on my basic white. Okay, that looks good. Let me close this up. We are done stamping this one here. Okay, and the other thing when I also started this live, I didn't start it off with where you see my face beforehand because, again, because I'm doing this kind of late. Yeah, I don't have like any makeup on. My hair is a little bit of a hot mess. So yeah, you don't need to see what I look like right now. But the other thing that I will make mention of, I had mentioned like I was going to do this actually in my last Friday Night Live. I was going to show some of the swap cards that I got. And if you remember, I made mention that I created 100 of the swap cards where I used the Rockstar bundle. But yeah, my live went a little long, so I didn't show any of them. I may, it all depends on how things are going. Maybe on Saturday, I'll do either a quick live or maybe do a pre-recorded video in which I'll show probably all of the swap cards if that's the only thing that I'm going to record on that day. Okay, so because I really want to show you those cards, there's some really cute cards that I did get. Okay, so for this egg, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Blends. Now I have like a bin like right over here, so I got everything thrown in there. So for this one, I am going to use the light bubble bath. I'm going to use light pumpkin pie. Now this peach, this peach pie color, there's not only the 5 new colors of the cardstock, but there are also Stampin' Right markers in each of the colors, and there's also a set of Stampin' Blends. Unfortunately, when the demos that went to the event, we were able to do what they call a product purchase premiere, so we're able to pre-order some items before the pre-order opens up to all demonstrators. I don't have them, so I had to go with something that'll be close. Now, I would have used pale papaya, but however, pale papaya is a retired color. So I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie. Then I have the light lemon lolly. I have light parakeet party. Now, this is an in color, one of the in colors that will be going away at the end of April. And with that being said, all of our outgoing in colors, so it's Sweet Sorbet, it's Parakeet Party, it's Tahitian Tide, Orchid Oasis, and Starry Sky. Those 5 colors are going away. So if you want any of the cardstock, any of the blends, the Stampin' Right markers, the reinkers, or the ink pads, you would want to get them sooner rather than later because I think as of right now, the ink pad refill that's currently sold out in this color here. Okay, and then I'm also going to use light pool party and light fresh freesia. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to use my light bubble bath and I'm going to come in and I'm going to color this one big section here. So for these cards, I try to do what I can in advance. So anything that may have to be fussy cut or die cut, I typically would do that in advance, just to save some time. So on this one, yeah, I've done where I've stamped and then I've already had one colored in and die cut. Well, that's not the case for tonight. I actually I'm going to be coloring this in and I will also be pulling in my stamp and cut and emboss and I'll be cutting it while I'm doing this live. Again, in between, I was, trying to come up with what ideas that I wanted to do for these cards. So by the time I got it all figured out, it was kind of later in the day. So same reason as to why I'm also recording this later at night and not earlier. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to color in this strip here. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do these little parts here in this strip. So I had taken care of yesterday, I had filmed my Throwback Thursday that featured, what was the one that I did for today or yesterday? I can't even remember the stamps that I used. That's really bad. Oh, Gift of Hope. Yeah, I did the Gift of Hope last night, and then no, for Thursday. I'm getting confused because I'm recording this on Thursday, but you're not seeing it till Friday. And so I did that one. I'm doing this Friday night live. Then for Sunday, I need to do an Easter video, and that I'm going to use. Actually, I got that stamp set sitting right here. This is the one I'm going to feature on the special holiday video for Easter. And then Monday is the first, so then it's like that monthly Christmas card inspiration as well. So I got a lot of videos to do within the next couple of days. It's a lot of work, but once I've started with doing it, I got to be consistent with it and just keep on going. Ideally, what would be nice is to get a whole bunch of them all pre-recorded well in advance and have them scheduled, and then that way, I kind of have a break in between one of these days. So like I mentioned, as I'm coloring this in, um, I did get all that IKEA furniture for this room and I assembled it. And if I had the camera on me when I first started this live, you would see the beast of a Calyx unit that I have behind me. But I will actually, when I do next Friday, I should be doing that one live. I do have another Friday, which is in, I'm trying to think what day it is. It's in April, maybe the 13th, whatever that Friday is. I will be, what will I be doing? Oh, I will be at, kind of like at, well, it's not really an event. I will be with friends that evening, so I will do another pre-record, and then after that, I should be back to the schedule of just doing the regular lives to where then I'm also interacting with all of you. I'm using my light Parakeet Party, and I'm coloring some of these other parts in here. And as with all the other Friday Night Lives that I do, if you would like the free card kit of the projects that I am creating tonight, place a minimum $35 order in my online store and do that by Wednesday at midnight on April 3rd. And you spend at least $35 and I will send you the card kit for free. Now, I will send you like some of the pieces I cannot die cut because you would need to stamp the images first, and that I can't do. I can't do the stamping for you. So you would need the bundle in order to do that. Um, as far as I know, now I haven't checked today and I should have. I'm not sure what the status is as far as this bundle goes. It may still be in stock. I don't know if anything was on low inventory or not for this bundle. But if you want to do the cards identical as to how I'm doing them, you would need the bundle. But you are also free. You can use whatever it is that you have as well and just utilize the cardstock pieces, to create, with what you have. So now I'm using the light pool party and I'm coloring this other section here of this egg. Yeah, let's see, I think that's the only spots. And then I'm going to bring in the light fresh freesia. And I'm going to fill in the rest of these open spots here. This is light, right? Yep. Yeah, so these I'm just coloring in. I'm not doing like any blending or anything with it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to bring in my seal. And I'm going to adhere all these pieces together. And I'll center this piece. Now there's Bubble Bath is not a color that's in this DSP, but because this DSP looks like it's got, some different shading of the pretty and pink, it's actually an old color, was a color that I think was out in, do I want to say it was a very long time ago. I think like 2006, 2007, somewhere along the line around that time. Pretty in Pink was one of the core colors. It had since long retired and now they brought it back as an in color. So we have the peach pie, we have Pretty in Pink, then there is Shy Shamrock, which to me is a lighter version of Call Me Clover, which was another in color a while back. And then we have Summer Splash, which is actually, it's in the DSP on the last card that we'll be doing. And to me, it's a cousin to Coastal Cabana. It's a little bit darker than that color. Okay, so we got this all adhered. So now what I'm going to do with this piece, I'm going to bring in the dies. And so the dies that I'm using, I kind of have set aside here. Let me just make sure that this is the right size I want. Yep. So let me bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So what's nice, I have this Calyx unit behind me, so I have basically these things right here where I would store it. You don't need that tape on me. I have things that I need right here at my fingertips, so kind of nice to have it right there and kind of out of the way, and at the same time it's put away. Okay, so let me line this up. Now this die, on this egg die, it does have like this little stitching around it, and I found that when you try to line it up, there's some areas that have a little bit more of a white border to it than in other areas. So I'm going to line it up the best I can, and I'm going to run this through. Yeah, so in my Friday Night Live last week, I actually showed this DSP, all the patterns that were in that pack. I showed the new in color cardstock, and let's see, I think there was something else. I think there was embellishments as well. This was stuff that we had gotten when we were at the Onstage event. We did participate in a crafting after hours event, and you can see it gives this border, a little bit of border, and then you see the stitching around the edge of that. So let me put that aside, and we'll put that aside, and then let's just move this out of our way. Yeah, so I showcased some of that stuff, the new products that'll be coming out. And again, like I mentioned, the video was going kind of long, so I didn't get to really show any of the swaps. But I really do want to show you those swaps. And then what I'd like to do is also go through the catalog with you as well as to, what's retiring, what's retiring with a discount that would start on April 9th, what's carrying over a new catalog, what's carrying over as far as in the online exclusives. So it's been more work to actually go through those two catalogs to check all that. Because the other thing too, and if you've been watching other demonstrators that have actually gone through the catalog, you probably have heard that there's also a price increase on some items, like cardstock will be going up, the blends, the punches. There's a few things that are going up in price. And if you also heard that very vanilla thick cardstock is being retired. Now the regular is still going to be available. It's just the thick along with the very vanilla envelopes. So the other day when I looked online, the very vanilla thick cardstock is actually gone now. That's sold out. Okay, so then on my egg, I'm going to bring in my Stella, and I'm just going to color over this whole egg and add some shimmer to it. Like I've mentioned before, I find that when I use my Stella to color over items that I have colored in with my blends, it not only adds the sparkle to it, but I find that it makes the colors a little more vibrant as well. Okay. All right, so that's done. And then I'm going to bring in the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Now, these are currently in the annual catalog, and I am really, really sad that these are going to be retiring. These things are so pretty and sparkly, so I have to make sure that I order a few of these before they're gone for good, because I really, really love these. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to add a few of these onto my card. So I'll add a bigger one there. And what's nice about these rhinestones, other than being iridescent, they're also a bit translucent. So wherever you put them down, they kind of take on, you can kind of see the color underneath from the paper. So these are really nice embellishments. They add that perfect sparkle to things, and they're just really, really pretty. Okay, so that is our first card. So let me set that aside, and let me bring in the stuff for our next card. Okay, there. Okay, so on this one, we're going to be doing some coloring on this one. And let me pull in my stamp set and pull out the stamps that we need. So there's this one stamp here that has a detail of bunnies and flowers and all that. And then I'm going to bring in the greeting that says there's no bunny like you. And then there's this little bunny. I'll bring him in too. Okay. And let me take these off since I don't need these stamps anymore. Okay, and let's put this one here. And let's go ahead and put our stamps on our blocks. We got our bunny. And then we got our greeting. So I want to try and get this lined up straight. Now with my set of stamps, it looks like when they went to die cut them, it looks like it was off a little bit because there's some areas where there's a lot of extra rubber there, but then it's close to where the design is. Now I've used these, so they're stamping okay. Nothing, none of the words or anything are cut off. If they were, all I would have to do is just reach out to Stampin' Up! And let them know, and then hopefully they would still have more in stock to where they would replace it. But these look like they're okay. So okay, so now that I have those all mounted, let me bring in my ink. I'm going to be using basic gray, and then I'm also going to be doing some coloring. So let me bring in the blends that I'll be using for that. So I have the light pecan pie. I have, let's see, dark bubble bath, the light parakeet party, light smoky slate, and those are the only colors that I need for this one. Okay, so for my cardstock pieces, I have a piece of Parakeet Party that measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored that at 4.25. And I'm going to fold and burnish this, and I'll put that aside. And then I have a piece of Bubble Bath. This measures 5 by 3.75. And with this piece, I'm going to bring in the Basics 3D embossing folders. This is in our online exclusives. I really, really like these embossing folders. I use these a lot. So you have one pattern that you have like these really deep dots. And then there's like this floral type pattern. And the one that I will be using is a crosshatch design. Okay, so I'll just place those in there. So I'm going to emboss this with this embossing folder, and I'll set that aside because on this piece I will be doing stamping, coloring, and die cutting these as well. So with my basic gray ink, I'm going to ink up this large egg. Want to make sure that I get the inside part so that it inked up really well. Now you can see that ink got on the edge of the stamp. So when I go to stamp this, I want to stamp straight down, and I don't want to rock the stamp, because when you rock the stamp, what'll happen, you'll get like that halo of that ink that ended up on the outer edges of the stamp. So I just want to press it down and make sure that I get all the ink transferred onto the cardstock. But again, I don't want to rock it because I don't want to get that ink that's on the edge onto my card. Okay, that looks okay. Let me put that aside. And then I'm going to bring in this little scrap piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp my bunny. So, actually, I'm going to stamp that again because this one part here looks a little more faded, and I want to kind of have an even coverage of ink. And again, I'm not going to rock it because again, there's ink on the edge. Okay, that's better. So let me set that aside, and then I'm going to bring in this piece of bubble bath, and I'm going to stamp the greeting that says, "There's no bunny like you." I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that at the bottom and kind of like in the middle. Okay, that's not too bad. So let me set those aside. Okay, and then I'll put that aside because again, that's going to be embossed. And then I'm going to bring in this scrap paper that I used to color on. So for the bunny, I'm going to make him into a chocolate bunny, and I'm going to color him all in with the light pecan pie. So with kind of redoing this room, um, the direction in which I'm recording, the setup of my recording. Now I'm working on the same table that I was doing before. The only difference is now I actually have another table right now that's right on the other side in front of this over here. And I have my lighting sitting on that. So it kind of lifts it up a little bit higher than it was before. So I'm looking through my phone. It looks like that it's a little more brighter than it was before. So the only way I'll really be able to tell is when I go to watch this live later on. Okay, so the bunny is colored. And then on this piece, I'm going to come in and I'm going to color in all of these bunnies in the light pecan pie. So coloring this piece is going to be a little bit time consuming. So there's lots of little bits and pieces on here. Now I'm not coloring like the entire background. Some people have colored the whole background and left like the bunnies white. I'm not doing that. I chose that the bunnies I'll color in. There's a couple little flowers, and then there's some stones, and then there's some blades of grass that I just quickly go over with the Parakeet Party blend. I'm just doing a quick coloring of the bunnies. Yeah, so the table setup that I have this table actually on a set of furniture risers, so it lifts the table up considerably. And then when I go to do in-person classes and we come in here to sit, I can remove those furniture risers and then it brings the tables down to a normal table height and just have chairs and people can sit comfortably at these two tables and craft. So last Saturday. Well, last Friday I did do my Friday Night Live featured the Easter Lilies bundle, and the next day I did have my in-person class, and I featured the same bundle. They were different cards than what I did in my live. Um, I'll make sure I didn't miss a spot there. So my next one, I don't have my calendar right here, but the next one will be, I'm guessing, is it the 13th? Is it that Saturday in April? As of right now, I'm not 100% sure as to what bundle or suite that I will be using. I would like to use, what is it called? Is it Sweet Zinnias or Simple Zinnias? It's an online exclusive. Um, I had received some swap cards that were done with those products, and I can tell you that paper is so pretty. It's got a lot of nice bright colors in it. And I think when I last checked, that paper was on low inventory, and the sequins that are part of that suite, they've been on back order for a while. And I think by the time they come back in, it's not going to be until I think like around April 29th or so. So it's going to be like way after when I have my class. So I'm still kind of thinking about what I want to do for my April class. So every month I do an in-person class, and the Saturdays in which I do them on, they do vary. So then it's not like I do a Christmas card club, and I do that the first Saturday of each month. However, so far since the beginning of the year, or since February actually, um, I've had nobody have an interest in coming to that. So it's possible nobody's thinking about anything Christmas at this point. So maybe later on in the year, people will be interested. So we'll see. So I still have it open. Nobody comes if nobody comes to that Christmas card club on that first Saturday, it's not a wasted Saturday, because in some form or fashion I am still doing some kind of crafting. I mean, as a matter of fact, I have a whole lot of cards that I need to go through that I've made, and there are a whole lot of Christmas cards. So I probably do have enough Christmas cards made that would be enough for this upcoming Christmas season. So, but again, I get it. We just got through, with winter. Some people are still dealing with winter. And the last thing you want to think about is doing Christmas cards, and I get it. So, again, it's just if you just had the desire that you wanted to make your own Christmas cards, and that way you were doing them in advance rather than last minute. Okay, so I used my light smoky slate to color in what looks like these little stones in the grass. And then I'm going to take my dark bubble bath, and I'm going to color in these flowers. Now there's a couple little spots that look like little tiny flowers in the background. So I'm just going to add a little dot of color onto those. And there's a little one there, two tiny ones there, two tiny ones there, one there. Um, I think I got them all. Okay. And then for the grass, I'm just going to come in with my light Parakeet Party, and I'm just going to do like little scribbles over those little lines that are grass. So I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just adding a little bit of color. I see one little spot that's one of the little stones that I missed. Just scribble on some color. Again, I'm not being perfect and making sure I'm like completely over those little lines. I'm just coming close and just adding some little dots of the color, like so. So just kind of filling it in a little bit. Okay, so now let me bring in my stamp and cut and emboss machine. Bring in, I apologize for the camera shaking because the table does shake. Let's see. So for this egg, I got this die here, and then I have the little bunny. So we'll die cut this egg first. So again, with this one too, it's when you try to line it up, it looks like it has a little bit more of a white border around it. So it does create that little bit of border plus that stitching along the edge. Okay, so there's our die cut egg. And then the don't need that. Kind of put some of that stuff away. And then let's bring in this bunny. We'll line up our die on this. We'll die cut him out. Okay. There's our bunny. And then let me remove these plates. And let me bring in this gray plate that comes with the machine. This is the one that you would use for the 3D embossing folders. Okay, so let me bring this in and line up. There is a line here that you can line your cardstock up so that way it's straight. And I'll run this through. Okay. And I'll set that aside. And we're actually done with our embossing folders. And yes, I am done with my machine. So let me kind of fold this all up. We'll put this away. Close that up. Okay, so then I am going to take this embossed piece and I'm going to add some of my seal. Now, when I put seal on an embossed piece, I don't want to go really hard because what it'll do is it'll tear the paper. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to center this on my card like so. And then I'm going to take this egg and I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. I'm going to add some of those to the back here. And as a matter of fact, I want to get another one. And I'm going to add one to the back of this bunny. Okay, I'm going to remove these paper backings. And I'm going to center this right here. And then on the bunny, I'm going to add him right down here. Okay, and then I have, let's see where is it? I have the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. This is currently in our annual catalog, and this will also be carrying over into the new catalog. And let me get my scissors, and I'm going to create a little bow. Okay, like so, and let me trim tails on this. And then I have some glue dots. Now these glue dots are part of a paper pumpkin kit. So I'm going to use these up. I really don't even need the box of the glue dots when I got so many of these. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 of them right below this egg. I feel that it'll give a little bit more adhesive in holding down this bow. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that right there. And then let me bring in those iridescent rhinestone jewels again. Move those out of the way. And I'm going to add a few of these to this card as well. So I'll put one there. And then medium one right here. And one of the smaller ones up there. Now, of course, we're not done with the bling, so let me bring in my Wink of Stella. And I'm going to add some on these flowers. There we have 2 up there, one there, one there. A little bit down here as well. And then I'm going to go over all of the bunnies as well. Got a little bunny butt over in this corner. And then we got two little ears right down there. And I think that's all of them that's in the egg. And then I'm going to come over this one right here. I got a glue dot stuck to my fingernail. Either a glue dot or just the paper backing. Now it's an actual glue dot. Okay. And that's our second card. We got a little bit of glitz on this one. Okay, so now let me put this one aside and let's clean this up a little bit and we'll go and do our third card. So we're coming up to the end of March, and when we have a new catalog coming out, that month prior to it, well, 2 months actually before it goes live, for demonstrators, Stampin' Up! Does open up a catalog ordering period, and this is for if we want to have Stampin' Up! They do a bulk mailing of catalogs, and we can put in, our customers and all that we would like to send a catalog to. I can tell you that by having Stampin' Up! Bulk mail it, it is a lot more inexpensive to do it that way than to actually go and me physically mail them out to everyone. So with that being said, if you are interested in getting one of our the new annual catalog, let me show you really quick what it looks like. This is our new catalog. So I can show you the cover. I can't show you what's inside of it. So if you are currently not working with a demonstrator, another demonstrator, and you would like a copy of this catalog, in the description of this live, I do have my email address is down there. Send me an email with your name and your mailing address, and I will add you to the list to receive the catalog. Now, if you are watching this and it is after March 31st and you would like a catalog, still go ahead and send me an email, even though I may not be able to have Stampin' Up! Send it directly to you. I can still mail out the actual physical copy of the catalog to you. It's more economical when I can, send it to multiple people through that program. But again, if you're watching this after the fact and you would like one, my email is in the description of this video. Just send me your name and your mailing address and I will get one out in the mail to you. Okay, so for my third card, we're only doing a little bit of stamping, and that's the greeting. For this card, I'm utilizing one of the dies. So we're doing some paper piecing on this particular one. So my greeting that I am using is Happy Easter. So I want to make sure I kind of got that straight on my block the best that I can. And then the color of ink that I'll be using is Berry Burst. And let me bring in my pieces for this one. So with this one, like I said, we're using one of the dies. And let's see, did I put it? Yeah, I put it in the thing. Let me show you the die that I used for this card. So it's this die here. So it has some detail on the actual die itself, and then it cuts out these other pieces to where you can cut out multiple colors and you can kind of mix some other colors into that egg. So that's what we're going to be doing with this card. So for my card base, I have a piece of basic white. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4.25. Then I have another piece of that Unbounded Beauty DSP. So we have this piece here where the colors in this is Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, and Pretty in Pink along with the white. And there's the Petunia Pop background. So we'll be using this pattern here. And then I have a piece of scrap basic white. This is what I'm going to stamp my greeting on. And then I'll also trim it down a little bit afterwards. And then I have all of these little bits and pieces here. Now, this was one of the dies that I used to die cut some of those eggs. Now, what I'm going to do with these pieces, I'm going to actually do the paper piecing of that more detailed egg on this, and then I'm going to trim around that egg, removing a lot of the extra white that'll be around it. I tried to do it just like this with that paper pieced egg on it, but the size was too big, and I have 4 of them. So it was going to be a little bit too big for the card, so I actually trimmed around these. So we'll be doing a little bit of fussy cutting. So that ought to be fun. So what I did on that particular die, so I had 4 pieces of scrap cardstock. They're about 2 by 2 in size. I cut 1 full egg out in, this is Bubble Bath. Then I have one in the Petunia Pop color. This is Coastal Cabana. As you can see, Coastal Cabana is really, really, really close to the Summer Splash color. And then I did another one in Lemon Molly. Now, before I die cut this, I do have some of the Sizzix adhesive sheets. Now, we don't carry the Sizzix brand one anymore. We do carry them in our annual catalog, but a few years ago when this was retiring, I did buy a few packages, so I have plenty of this to kind of go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside, and on these eggs, let me bring in my silicone craft sheet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off the paper backings from these. And I want to stick it down in the middle here and press it down really well. Okay, and then in this top part, I'm going to take the Coastal Cabana piece. And I'm going to remove that paper backing. And I'm going to stick that right up in this spot here. And then I'm going to take the Petunia pop. Which way does this go? It goes this way. And hopefully it doesn't take a really long time for me to remove the paper backing off of these. And with using the adhesive sheets, it's a little bit easier to work with these. You're not dealing with liquid glue and getting glue all over the place. And then I'm going to bring in this piece of the lemon molly. And I'll add that right there. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside. And then for my next one, I'm going to bring in this lemon molly one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to piece all of these together. Oops. Stick that down. And again, I'm not worrying about centering this down because all this excess around the egg, I am going to cut that off. Okay, so then for this one, the top piece is going to be the bubble bath. Is that bubble bath? Now I'm questioning myself. No, it's not bubble bath. Okay, so the background of this card was bubble bath. This is actually Pretty in Pink. Yes, it's Pretty in Pink, not bubble bath. This is the returning, one of the new in colors, but it's actually a returning color. That's also the color that's in that DSP that we're using for the background. Okay, so for the center strip of this one, it's the Coastal Cabana. Now I'll put that in there. What's nice about this, you don't end up with all sticky fingers. And then I need this Petunia pop piece. Now I could have done this video, as a regular pre-record, but if you do videos, if you do pre-recorded, if you do lives, you would know that if you do pre-recorded stuff, there's actually like more work involved with them. Like at least for me anyway, it's more work because, I actually film my videos. If I do one card and like, for example, where I started, where I kind of did put things together and I stamped some stuff and then I had the die cut and then assemble everything. What I would do is I would break that video, that one particular card up into 3 different video clips. So the first clip would be basically, mentioning what my cardstock pieces are, and then I would stamp whatever would need to be stamped. Then I would stop that video, restart it to do kind of like the tedious stuff if there was coloring, fussy cutting, die cutting, that type of thing. All of that would get done in one video clip, which would then later on be sped up. And then the third clip for that card would be the actual final part of assembling it. So pre-records, once it's all said and done, I do the very little bit of simple editing in my phone, but then I'm uploading it to the computer and doing all those other steps to put the final piece together to then upload and schedule it to YouTube. So it's kind of nice that, even though that I'm not doing this live where people are watching, I don't have to do any editing at all with this. It's basically what it is. The only thing I have to go back and do with this video is go in and take all the information, like all the supplies I used and all the other information and all that, and just copy and paste it into the description of the video. And like I said, when Friday rolls around, church service will start at 7. So prior to that, maybe about 6, I think that's what I did a couple of weeks ago. I will switch the view of this live from private to public, and everybody will get to see it. The only thing, like I said, that's different is that at the beginning you're not seeing me. It's usually for a small amount of time before I flip, the camera down to my work surface. Okay, there's our third one. Want to press that down so that way when I go to cut it, it'll be easy to cut it. So let me bring in our final one, our Petunia Pop one. Now also in the description of the video, there is also a link if you would like to sign up for my newsletter. So far, I've only been doing one newsletter a month, and I basically just mention some of the things that are going on between, what I'm doing on this YouTube channel. I also mention about the Christmas card club that I do every month. Now I just kind of do a little brief thing, if it's something that you are interested in. I do have more information on it that I would then go ahead and email to you if you're interested in it. And then I would have my in-person class. I would have the information of that, like what it is that I'm using and the date and the time. Now, I do not include like the address or anything on there. If you are interested in attending, then there is a button you can click on that sends you to my email, and you can let me know that you're interested, and then from there I'll email you all the details on where exactly I am holding the class, and things like what you would need and all that. Now right now I will let you know that my in-person classes at the moment, they are free. Now somewhere down the road, if I get a lot more people that come to it, then I may start charging for it, but it would not be like a high amount. If it's just a card class where you're creating 3 cards, and you're not purchasing like any product that we're using in that class, then the amount's going to be fair. It would be fairly low. If it was product based where you would actually be getting product, like say the stamp set or bundle or whatever, then the cost would be a little bit more. So more is going towards towards the price of the products that in the end, when the class is done, you're keeping that product and you're taking it home and you're still creating more stuff with it. Okay. So we have all of that. Okay, I'll set that aside. I'm going to bring in this little strip of cardstock here, and I'm going to get my Berry Burst ink. Move this up a little bit, and I'm going to get my stamp. I'm going to ink this up, and Let me get this straight. Okay. And then, like I mentioned, I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to trim it down. Now I'm going to bring in, this was something that a few years ago Stampin' Up! Had as an offering with Celebration, this mini paper trimmer, and it came with some sampling of some papers. So I like this little trimmer, so I'm going to continue to use it. Now, a little tip on what I'm doing. So as you can see, this piece isn't very wide, and I want to trim some off of the top here and some from down on the bottom. So you can see that there's a very small lip here to kind of line this up. By having my silicone sheet here, I can actually butt this cardstock up to it, so then that way it'll remain straight. So I'm just going to kind of put my paper in and I'm going to trim up near the top so you can see, have a nice straight cut on that. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other end. Okay, I don't need this anymore. And then I'm going to trim a little bit off of either side. Just making it a little bit smaller on my card, like so. Okay, we'll put that aside. And let's see, we'll clean this off. Now today I'm using my chamois rather than my Stampin' Scrub. I just happen to have had this handy, so figured might as well go ahead and use it. All right, so the fun part, not the fun part. If you know me, you know I don't like fussy cutting, but this card needed to have these pieces cut, so yeah. Like I said, I spent the past let's see, since Friday night up until Tuesday, I was putting IKEA furniture together. So needless to say, yeah, my hands and my wrists, they are definitely feeling it. I did in this room, I did a big L-shaped desk. So in this space, it's not just my craft studio, but I also work from home. So this is also an office. Make sure that kind of, I don't want to cut that off. So it's kind of like my work office as well. So I created a big L-shaped desk with the tabletops and the Alex drawer units. So like one of those units is a filing cabinet. One of them's a storage that has like all my shipping type of stuff in it. And then I have the two Alex drawer units for my craft desk. Then I have right behind me, which I will end up showing when I go live, because next Friday, because like I said, I changed the direction in which I am filming now. I'm facing the opposite wall. So when I have the camera on me, you will actually see the big 5x5 cube calyx unit right behind me. So in this calyx unit, I have a whole row of the double drawer units and a whole row of the cabinet doors. And drilling those inserts into the calyx unit, yeah, it was, had to use a little bit of elbow grease to kind of get those screws in there. So yeah, my hands are definitely feeling it. And My thumb, especially right now, is in this hand here is kind of, it's hurting a little bit, but I'm going to persevere and I'm going to get through on cutting these and try not to say ow. Once I get these cut, putting the rest of the card together will be easy breezy. Okay, that's 2 down. Yeah, and then on what I was mentioning about with the newsletter, the other thing that I also put in there is anything that's new that's coming up with Stampin' Up. So that's basically at the moment what I have in my newsletters. Now, if there is ever anything, like any special promotion or anything like that that's coming up, or in the future, say if I do more classes, not just like in person, but maybe like online virtual type classes, then there may be more than one newsletter a month. But right now it's just the one. So if you're interested in being on my newsletter and seeing what's going on, each month in the studio, again, there is a link to that in the description of this live. Mm, Okay, that's 3. One more to go. One more. But I'm definitely feeling this, and it doesn't feel good. Okay, that's it. They're all cut, so let's get this card. Let's get this card done. Okay, so I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. Yeah, that, that hurts. I think I'm going to be taking some Tylenol. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece, add some adhesive to it, and we're going to add this to the center of our card. So, and then the greeting, add some adhesive to this, and I'll add that to this bottom corner here. All right, and then let me bring in my dimensional, and I'm going to add them to the back of these eggs. Okay. All right. So I am going to start off with my lemon lolly egg. And I'm going to place that, see, about here. Now I'm not going to fully press down on these just in case if I have to move these around. And then I'm going to take my pretty and pink egg, not my bubble bath. And I'm going to place this one over here. And then let's see, my coastal Cabana one. I'm going to place this one kind of like up here. And then my Petunia pop one that I cut just a little bit too much of the top of that egg. I'm going to place this one right down here. Okay, so I'm going to just press those all down. I'm going to bring in like blue dots again. And I'm going to add 2 of those right about here. And remove those backings. And then I'm going to tie another little bow using this Baker's Twine Essentials pack. So make our loops just a little bit bigger. Okay, and then let me get my scissors. And let me trim that. Okay, I'm gonna stick our bow right there. And then I'm going to bring in my rhinestones again. And we'll add a few of these. I'll add one about here. And let's see, we got a medium sized one. We'll put that one up here. So you can kind of see it takes on a little bit of the color of the paper underneath it. It's really cool. And then one more right down here. Okay, guys, so that is our cards. So let me kind of move things out of the way. So let me bring in our other 2. So here was our first card. It was a little more on the simpler side. We just did some coloring with some pastel colored Stampin' Blends to kind of go with the peach pie card base and the paper that has the peach pie and the pretty and pink. And it looks like even bubble bath is kind of mixed in there as well. So we got some shimmer and shine and some nice springy colors on that one. And then we did a little bit more coloring on this one with the bunnies. And again, added some bling with the Wink of Stella and with those iridescent rhinestones that, again, like I said, these will be retiring. And yeah, they're very pretty. So if you really like the nice pretty sparkles, get that before those are gone. And then here is our final card. Now I didn't add any Wink of Stella to this, but I felt that there was enough that was kind of going on with this card with all the paper piecing that we did with these die cut eggs and Again, we use the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. So if you like these projects, and again, if you like these projects and you would like all the cardstock pieces, for all three of these card kits, place a minimum $35 order by midnight next Wednesday on April 3rd, and I will send you all of the cardstock pieces for this. Now, as far as die cutting goes, for these eggs right here, I can die cut those pieces for you along with the DSP, and I'll emboss this piece as well. However, for like the piece here with the bunnies and this bunny here and this egg here, you would need to stamp that before die cutting it, and that part I wouldn't be able to do for you. So you would need the bundle if you would like to create the cards exactly how I did them. And if you don't have the bundle or you don't want to get the bundle, you could easily use the components from all three of these kits and use whatever stamp set that or die or punch that you have in your stash. So if you like these projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel because it does help me in not only building my channel, but it also helps me in growing my Stampin' Up! Business. So I will be coming to you on Sunday on Easter. Now, it won't be a live. I will be doing a pre-recorded. It's a special holiday video that I'll be doing since it is Easter. So for that one, I am featuring this Retired Rejoice in Him stamp set. I will be creating 3 cards with this. Um, I will also have, let's see, the Christmas card inspiration video where I do 2 simple Christmas cards at the beginning of each month. That will be posted early on Monday morning. And as far as those swap cards, I'm thinking I may do a separate video on that one, and all depending on how things are going, like say on Saturday, maybe I'll do a quick live or maybe do a quick pre-recorded video showing you all the cards. Now, like I mentioned with my swap cards, I did make 100 of them. I did swap all of them out. Now, there were some people that either they had already swapped out all their cards or they didn't make any for the event. So it's a completely optional thing if you want to do them or not. But so I didn't get 100 back, but I did get, quite a few. So I just need to take them out of the cellophane envelope so then I can better show them to you. So I may do something to and post that for Saturday. We'll all see what happens. Again, tomorrow when you see this, actually, it is Good Friday. So I will be attending our church's Good Friday service. And so I guess we'll kind of see what happens on Saturday. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. I am like just over an hour and a half. So I think I'm going to end this now. So everyone, I won't be seeing you live until then, but I want to wish you all a blessed Easter. I hope you have like just a nice, wonderful, peaceful, and blessed day with family, with friends. And remember that we are celebrating the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. So God bless everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.